I'm a real estate agent and investor myself. I sell around 50 homes a year, and the number one thing I hear from people is, George, I just don't have enough money yet. 3 strategies, real numbers, let's go. Strategy 1. House hacking with FHA loan. And if I'm being honest with you, this is the best place to start. It's a pretty simple concept. You buy a double, triplex, or a fourplex. You move into one unit, the tenants in other units help pay your mortgage, and that's it. Here's what most people don't know. Because you are living in one of the units, you can buy it as your primary residence, and that matters a lot. Because as a primary residence, you qualify for FHA loan. I call it the first-time home buyer's best friend, and it is actually. You only need 3.5% down, credit score as low as 580. Real numbers, let's say you buy a double for $300,000. With taxes and insurance, let's say your monthly payment is around $2,500. 3.5% down of $300,000, how much is that? That's like $10,500. Not $50,000, not $20,000, $10,500. Also, one more important thing to know when it comes to house hacking is a self-sufficiency test. If you're buying a triplex or fourplex with FHA, the lender needs to know the rental income from the unit you're not living in can cover the property's operating costs. They typically want 75% of expenses covered, so you should talk to your lender before you fall in love with the property. Now, the big one, closing costs. Yes, everyone has closing costs, unfortunately. So here's the move. Look, airplane. I'm walking through a commercial property, sorry. Okay, we talked about closing costs. So you can negotiate with the sellers to cover closing costs. With FHA, seller can pay up to 6% of the purchase price in closing costs, which means that takes care of the title fees, lender fees, prepaid taxes. You can even buy down your interest rate with that. On a $300,000 property, you could walk in with $10,500. Sorry guys, I'm checking out one commercial property my client is looking to buy. Anyways, I did house hack myself. I bought a double, and then I asked the sellers for closing costs. I was also able to roll my commission into down payment because I'm a realtor. Another great benefit of having a real estate license. And by the way, I do have a course for new realtors. I teach new realtors how to make their first $100,000 a year. So be free to check it out. I'm going to be real with you. In today's market, it's really hard to find deal where the tenants cover your whole mortgage. But even if they cover 70%, even if they cover 50%, you still own an asset that's going up in value. And rents don't go backwards. The goal is not to break even. The goal is to buy under market value, force some appreciation, and pull out that equity to buy the next one. And strategy 2 is exactly how you do that. Strategy 2, BRRRR. Buy, rent, rehab, refinance, repeat. I have a video about this. This one is about recycling your money. You find a property that's undervalued, ideally off-market of course, motivated seller. Use hard money or private money to buy it and cover the renovation. You do the work, get a tenant in, refinance, pull your capital and back out. Then go and find the next one. Let me give you a real example. There's a neighborhood their houses are selling for $300,000. You find one off-market asking $130,000. It needs work, flooring, painting, some drywall, nothing structural or crazy. Hard money loan covers the purchase and the renovation. Work is done. Bank appraises it at $300,000. They'll refinance 75% of that value. That's $225,000. You pay off hard money loan, whatever is left is your equity. That's your capital for the next deal. By the way, this commercial property is not bad at all. The guy did the same thing here. He bought it under market value, now it's worth $3.5 million. He paid $700,000. Also, pay attention to look into DSCR loan. Most beginner content skip this completely. When you refinance investment property, you can use DSCR loan, which means debt service coverage ratio. The lender doesn't look at your personal income. No pay stubs, no tax returns, nothing. They just need to see that the rent covers the mortgage. If you're self-employed or your income is not consistent like mine, if your W-2 doesn't look great, this changes everything for you. Also, I'm going to do a separate video on each one of these strategies, so feel free to subscribe and check it out. Like I said, this property over here, you can do it with the commercial as well. It's all about buying under market value and just forcing some appreciation. With commercial, it's easy to do that. Also with income generating properties. Yeah, George, that sounds great, about all of these deals. These people got lucky. They found a deal and somebody needed to sell because they needed money. No, brother. That's not how it works. So let's talk about how you find these deals. And that's what strategy 3 is all about. Find a deal, the money will follow. Trust me. Beginners think backwards. They think once I have money, I'll find a deal. But the people who actually build portfolios, they flip it. Because here's the truth. Finding a crazy good deal is hard. But if you can bring a property to the table that's a really undervalued, that has strong numbers, that has potential, people are going to come to you. Trust me. Now you have this deal, but you cannot fund it because you're broke. You're just a beginner. So I would go two paths, honestly, and this is how people do it. First, you can wholesale the deal. Okay, you can assign a contract for a fee to someone and just add your assignment fee to the top. This can create the capital for you to buy the next deal with your own money, which means you never own the property. You get paid for finding and securing the deal. It's like a finder's fee, but legally it's different. It's called assignment fee, where you basically sell the contract. Let's say you have a property under contract for $200,000 and the property is worth $250,000. What you do is you find the buyer and you sell the contract for $250,000 to him. So you make $50,000 basically off of doing this. Also, you gotta check your local and state regulations. For example, here in Ohio now, wholesalers, they gotta have a disclosure that they're wholesaling this property. And they gotta kind of prove they're not taking the advantage of the seller. Also, there is a guy from Cleveland here. He is big. I gotta remember his name. I know he has a YouTube channel about real estate investing. I remember the story when he was starting out. He would find all these crazy deals because he was going door to door asking people if they're looking to sell. And then he wouldn't wholesale the deal. He would bring a couple people together and then he would tell them, hey, I'll give you this deal. I don't need money, but give me like 20% equity. So that guy would ask for equity instead of money because he was working as a server or he was doing something. So he didn't need money to survive. So he would be asking for equity. In the end, he ended up with a couple units himself. And that's how he started. So that's the thing with real estate. You just gotta be creative. And there's ways to do a lot of things if you just know how to do it. So now you have 3 strategies in your pocket to become the next Grant Cardone. I'm just kidding, of course. You just gotta focus on finding the right deal. And let me be honest with you, it's not easy as many people think. You just gotta have some courage and just go for it. You know, things get figured out. It's nothing crazy, you know. You learn as you go. A lot of people that I know that have millions in real estate, I mean, millions, they failed and they failed so many times. Some people went bankrupt. You know, and also that's one thing, you just gotta surround yourself with people who did it. There is a lot of real estate networking events and you can talk to realtors, you can talk to loan officers. But once you actually do it, you know, when you get your first property and the tenant is calling you, hey, my toilet is leaking, and you're like freaking out, which doesn't happen often, by the way. You know, until you do it, you don't have the confidence. It's like a compounding effect. It's just going to give you confidence to keep going and you will learn as you go. And I think real estate is one of the best ways to make money. People need a place to live and it's pretty conservative. If you know what you're doing, you can secure your family. Real estate is fun. I love talking about real estate and I'm gonna be more consistent with my YouTube channel because people are asking me real estate questions all the time. So why wouldn't I film my YouTube video for you guys to watch it? If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. You have my Instagram down, you can reach out, subscribe, like, and see you in the next video.